Adding and subtracting multiples of polynomials. Because of the distributive law that we have seen before, or we know the distributive property, we can remove brackets or parentheses enclosing several terms when a monomial precedes the parentheses. We simply multiply every term within the parentheses. We saw that before as how we did it here. We get rid of the bracket, so that's what we did here. Now let's go a little bit further and say, for example, I put to add, and these are 2 3 2x plus 5 and 2 4x minus 3. We proceed as follows. The way you're going to be doing this is, it says to add this term or this whole thing and this thing. Basic terms I'm using for explaining this. So to add these two, you will proceed by doing this: 3 open bracket 2x plus 5 and then plus 2 4x minus 3. That is what they told you. To add these two, you do it this way because this means the addition or the sum. So distributive law, the multiplication by 3 is what will happen here, and by 2, so we will be applying the distributive law here. So let me put that in red. Distributive law, you don't have to be writing all of this whenever you work this out. Okay, distributive law, multiplication by 3, this 3 here, and by 2. That doesn't mean that every problem will be multiplied by 3 and 2. It simply means this specific problem here. All right, so our step, let me do it this step here so I can proceed because it cannot fit here. Right, so you see now 3 times 2x 6x, 3 times 5, that will give us 15. Okay, 2 times 4x will give us 8x, and 2 times negative 3 will give us negative 6. Okay, so let me zoom in now into that two steps there. Okay, now we will group like terms, right, so that we can work much better. Just in case if this was a very large problem, I would encourage you that you group like terms. 6x and 8x are like terms. Why are they like terms? Because the variable are the same to the same power. Then we put plus 15 minus 6. Okay, so we continue now and say that 6x plus 8x will give us 14x. 15 plus negative 6. Remember the rule when we're adding a positive and a negative, we keep the sign of the largest value, which in this case would be the 15, so we put that plus and then subtract the smallest from the largest, which would then give us 9, and that's our solution for that particular problem. So we combine like terms. Okay, so here what we did is combine like terms. Combine like terms. So this is how you're going to be doing this now. Okay, so you're going to remove the brackets by applying the distributive law first of all, and then combine like terms and do your addition or your subtraction. Okay, so let's do one for practice now. So let me come with the next example here. Now we have, and I can put here, and let me just put this so as a reminder, remove parentheses. I'm going to use the word parentheses because some people prefer to use the word parentheses or brackets. It doesn't make any difference. It's still the same concept, parentheses and simplify. Simplify means simply means to solve or combine them. All right, so that's our problem. So we put here 2a squared minus 3a close bracket plus 5 open bracket a squared plus 2a. Okay, that's our problem. So how are we going to solve this? Well, we need to have a strategy. The first thing we need to do is to apply the distributive law, okay, or the distributive property to remove the brackets. Okay, so the first thing is to remove the brackets, then we collect like terms. So let me put here on the side, remove brackets, and then collect like term. So those are our strategy. Okay, so let's start. Again, I will do my steps right down here. And so we say 2 times a squared will give us 2a squared. 2 times negative 3a will give us negative 6a. 5 times a squared will give us 5a squared. 5 times 2a will give us 10a. Now, we have just removed the bracket, so we have done this. Second step, collect like terms. Well, do we have like terms? Yes, we have like terms. So we put 2a squared plus 5a squared, 2a squared plus 5a squared, and then negative 6a plus 10a. We have gathered or collected like terms. Now we evaluate. So we continue. 2a squared plus 5a squared will give us 7a squared. Negative 6a plus 10a will give us plus 4a. And that's our solution for that particular problem there. Okay, so let's go back again and see what did we do. So we have collected like terms. So first step, remove the brackets, which we did by applying the distributive law, and we end up with this. Then you combine like terms or collect like terms or gather like terms. Okay, and then we do our simplification or calculation. All right, let's try a few more examples. Let's say our next example is as follows. We have here 3 open bracket x squared plus 4x close bracket plus 2x squared minus 4. I won't be writing the words of what we should be doing because we should know by now. First thing is to remove brackets. Okay, so we go ahead and remove brackets. 3 times x squared will give us 3x squared. 3 times 4x will give us plus 12x. 2 times x squared will give us 2x squared. 2 times negative 4 will give us negative 8. Alright, now we combine like terms. 3x squared plus 2x squared plus 12x and minus 8. Note here how this will not be combined, only the ones that can be combined. All right, so 3x squared plus 2x squared will give us 5x squared plus 12x, because 12x cannot be combined with no one, minus 8, and that's our solution. Okay, not every time we will need to combine these two terms when you multiply the total. Okay, so this is just an next example. Right, so make sure that you're on the forums, you post these questions on this if you need clarity. Let's go with our next example. Our next example is as follows. We have negative 8 minus a squared minus 2a plus 3 close bracket minus 4 bracket 2a squared plus a minus 6. Okay, now this is a long one. If you notice, there are 3 terms here inside, 3 terms here. All right, so let's proceed. I'm going to do those steps here. Our first thing to do is to remove brackets, apply the distributive law. So negative 8 times a squared will give us negative 8a squared. Negative 8 times negative 2a. Well, the rule says that when two negatives are being multiplied, we make it a positive. So it becomes plus 16a. Negative 8 times positive 3, negative 24. Then we have negative 4 times 2a squared will give us negative 8a squared. Negative 4 times a will give us negative 4a. Negative 4 times negative 6, positive 24. Now, if you are observing carefully, notice that when a negative is being multiplied to someone inside of the bracket, all of their values change sign. All right. Okay, as how I was saying, when we get rid of these brackets and there's a negative inside, the result will be negative. They will be changed to their opposite signs from what was inside of the bracket. So notice that carefully. Now we will gather like terms. So we put here negative 8a negative 8a squared, negative 8a squared here. Now the a's, we put plus 16a minus 4a, negative 24 plus 24. Okay, so can we cancel anyone? All right, so we look at those things if we could cancel. So yeah, next step will be negative a squared minus 8a squared will give us negative 16a squared, because we're just adding on more negative. Positive 16a minus 4a will give us plus 12a. Negative 24 plus positive 24, well, that's a 0, so this is our solution for that particular problem there. So remember, working this type of problems, what we need to do is to get rid of the brackets first of all. That's the first step. And then after getting rid of the brackets, then you are to combine like terms or gather like terms.